Just like that, baby, we officially live on the official Wydoe podcast with your boy Wydoe, and we got a special episode today. We are here with a special guest at a special place. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from Paraiso Esthetics with Lorraine herself. How you feeling today?
Nervous, awkward.
Come on now, she's ready for it. She's built for it. Now, first and foremost, where are we? What is Paraiso Esthetics by Lorraine?
So I am an esthetician and an electrologist. I also have a business degree. In my business, I offer a lot of services. I offer post-op care for anyone that's had any cosmetic surgeries, body contouring in general, teeth whitening, tooth gems, and then a variety of skin services as well.
You know, where are you from? Where were you born and raised?
I'm from West Palm Beach, Florida.
Nice.
Came to PSL when I was 6 years old. Been here majority of my life, of course. All of my family lives in West Palm Beach though, so I feel like even though I've lived in Port St. Lucie majority of my life, I'm always back and forth to West Palm. Like
Perfect.
I feel like I'm a over here girl, but also a down south girl at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I've always been back and forth. Everyone's down there.
So I want to ask, what was your dreams as a kid? Who'd you want to be like when you were young, Lorraine? Did you always want to be this esthetician professional?
I definitely wanted to be a lot of things when I was younger. I always wanted to be a marine biologist when I was a little girl because I loved the ocean. I loved going to the beach. But then I got older, and once I was around like 14 years old, I kind of already was like getting into this industry and like seeing what it was all about. Mm-hmm. And that's what kind of sparked me at first to kind of open my eyes to the aesthetic world and finding out what's an esthetician and just, opening my eyes to what this world is and getting an interest in it.
Obviously, I'm sure that you've had to get some credentials to do what you do and be who you are. So have you been, what kind of schooling did you do and did it take to become your role?
So right out of high school, I was already going into a business degree. And like I said, I already had sparked interest in the aesthetic world because quick backstory, when I was younger, I played soccer like my whole entire life.
Wow.
And I was breaking out really bad. So my skin was getting really messed up. I was seeing dermatologists and my skin wouldn't get better. It would just get worse. And then what ended up happening was I started seeing an esthetician and she basically cleared up my skin. So that's what kind of starts that interest. And then once I'm out of high school, I was working. First of all, I've worked since I was 14 years old, so I've had a lot of jobs. But when I was out of high school, I was working at a doctor's office for neurology. And then the other half of the office was aesthetics, but the more advanced side of aesthetics. Gotcha. So laser hair removal, using machines for facials, injections, all of these things. So basically what ends up happening is while I'm working there, I'm like, what's the job title of like the woman who's like doing all the services? And they're like, she's an esthetician. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, that's what I want to do. Yeah. I'm like, that's 1000% what I want to do. So I was like, okay. I finished my first semester of my business degree. I jumped into my esthetician program. I went to IRSC main campus. That's where I did my esthetician program. There's a lot of programs that exist. I will always say back then, we're talking about almost 11 years ago.
Right.
They had a really good program. They had amazing professors there that really taught you like the knowledge. Yeah. And this is before COVID time. So we had to be hands-on. We had to be there. It was like having a job when we were going to school. It wasn't just you could be at home and do it on the computer. It was, we were there 24/7. Yeah. Monday through Friday, all day long, from early in the morning until late in the afternoon. So then I did my full esthetician program. As soon as I finished it, I went back into my business degree, finished my business degree. And then once I started my business, we'll get into all of that though too, right? But I'm just trying to get into all the background of what I do have. Once I started my business, I'm already running the business full time, also finishing my business degree, finish the business degree, and then go into my electrology program and then finish my licensing to become an electrologist as well. And then I've done a lot of other continuing education, and it's just been years of education. So
Come on now.
it's a lot.
Come on now, what it takes to really be the boss lady, the CEO.
Oh, yeah.
But speaking on that, you know, I want to ask, in your opinion, because I think nowadays there's a lot of estheticians. I've had a few on my show. Shout out to all the
Yes.
beautiful ladies. But I think the industry has boomed. It's a
Definitely.
cool thing to do.
Yeah.
Do you think that while you were going through that process, it was before everybody thought, I want to be an esthetician?
Absolutely. I always look back at it. And when I first started, I remember there was really only one other person that was known in Port St. Lucie that had like an aesthetic business. But they offered a variety of services. And this was before everyone else like really got into it.
That's right.
So it's not to say that we were the first people, because we're not the only people that exist.
Yeah.
But we definitely started. We were the ones that really started in Port St. Lucie and had our businesses way before everyone started really getting into like the aesthetic beauty world, because it has boomed like crazy.
Right. And I think that's with anything. You know, there's a point where everybody wanted to be a rapper, and everybody wants to be a streamer, everybody wants to be a YouTuber, right? And I think it's great, but it's the people that do it before the boom. You truly wanted to be an esthetician, because I loved it. Where some people these days might just want the end result and don't realize the work it takes.
I agree. I think a lot of people with certain things, not just beauty world, not just aesthetics, with anything. You know, with anything, I think they see what some people have accomplished for themselves, and it's nice to want that too. You know, no hate to anyone. I always say there's enough people that exist in this world to be clients for everyone, you know? But I do think some people get into certain industries for the wrong purposes. And just because they think it's something quick and they're going to make money really fast, but they don't see what's all like the background and the sacrifice and everything you have to do to really get into this world and any other world that exists, right? And really be top at like what you do and what you offer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, all these things that you mentioned, obviously, you know, you're working as a young age. You said multiple jobs.
Yeah.
Put herself through school. Who do you think can you accredit, if anybody, to what got you your drive and your determination?
Definitely my mom. Love her. I always say she's an angel walking the earth. So my mom is a single mom. Touchy subject for me. So when I was about 16 years old, my dad, I've had nothing to kind of do with my dad since I was 16 years old.
Gotcha.
Don't really know anything about him. Couldn't tell you something about him. I guess to get a little personal, since it's a podcast, right?
Only the
I
real.
had a dad, you know, I'm not the only person. I had an abusive dad, alcoholic dad, druggy dad. And my mom's nothing like that. My mom is literally an angel. You know, the cards got dealt bad for her in life, that, you know, she ended up with not such a great person. And I did learn at a very young age that you cannot depend on a man, and that you really have to be able to provide for yourself, and that you have to make a living for yourself. And God forbid you're with the wrong person, and then, you know, like everything kind of goes to shit, right? And then you're left scrambling, trying to figure out what you're going to do. So I did learn at a very young age that I needed to be independent. I was never going to depend on a man. I needed to be able to provide for myself, that I wanted to have a career or just do something in life for sure, where I knew that eventually I'd be able to take care of my mom, take care of my family, because I see all the struggles that my mom has had to go through, you know, as a single mother. It was just me and my brother. Another little fun fact, I'm a twin.
Wow.
Yeah, so me and my brother were fraternal twins. My mom only had us. My dad does have other kids. But my dad was older as well than my mom. So all my siblings are much older than us. But yeah, so I did learn at a young age. I started working at 14, helped my mom out, kind of pay for our own things, right? Without having my mom to have to pay for our things. Because, you know, you're a single mom for the first time. You're trying to figure out how you're going to pay the bills, how everything's going to work, you know. But I can definitely accredit my drive and everything to her, because she was someone that growing up, she'd be working the 3 jobs, the 4 jobs, trying to pay the bills, you know. And as I got older, you know, and I went to school and everything, also working very hard since I was 14 years old, I paid my way through college, through all my schooling. No one did it for me. I was the person that didn't have the handout, that I really had to work super, super hard to be able to accomplish what I wanted to do in life.
Wow. And that's huge. And congratulations on that. And I think too many people these days have somebody that's great in their corner pushing them forward, and they still don't want it. But when you have to do it yourself,
it's very different.
It's truly on you. You signed up, you're going to see it through. Or maybe my mom signed me up for this. I don't want to be here. They paid for it though, so I feel bad. You chose everything you wanted to do.
It's true.
I want to ask, obviously, you know, I love the name, Paraiso. What does that even mean? What does Paraiso mean?
So, Paraiso is paradise, but in Spanish.
Love it.
Yes.
Sí.
Yeah. So when I started the business name in general, like I said, I love the beach and I love tropical things, paradise.
Yeah.
And I was always like, I'm like, how can I add that kind of to the business? Because what I wanted was inside of like my actual business was to have like greenery and things like that, which obviously you can see walking in here. I have the greenery when you walk in, behind you here. So that's kind of like where that comes into play. I'm like, what's a name that like no one kind of has? Also, keep in mind, I was very young when I started the business.
Right.
So it's like, you're not thinking of like the most aesthetic, like crazy name, but I'm thinking of things that like I like, So I was like, paradise. I'm like, but I want it to be in Spanish. So I was like, Paraiso. I'm like, that's perfect. So I chose the name because obviously Paradise Aesthetics didn't sound good to me.
Absolutely. Yeah. No.
Paraiso Aesthetics sounded great to me. So I was like, we're going to do that. We're going to add the touch of Spanish, the tropical vibes.
Yes.
I'm like staring at my sign over here on the wall. So I'm like, I need just something aesthetics because I provide multiple services, not just skincare, not just certain things, you know?
Right.
So that's where that name kind of comes from. And then obviously you see the I in Paraiso is a pineapple.
Right.
Little vibes.
Very tropical.
Yeah. And then my silhouette of the girl in my logo as well. She has an orchid in her hair, which fun fact is because I'm Colombian. And in Colombia, the national flower is orchids.
Nice.
So I was like, she has to have an orchid in her hair. And then my orchid's right here,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the whole vibe. I told Lorraine, I feel like I'm in Miami Brickell in this
Love
beautiful
that.
studio.
That's what we
very
want.
clean, very nice, elegant.
Yes.
Obviously, the B-roll, you guys will see how it looks. And anything, Spanish, I'm here. That's it for me. I think
Love
my
that.
wife is somewhere in a Spanish country somewhere, Lorraine. I'll find her one day.
I feel that.
Paraiso, we're here. But I want to ask you, obviously, it's Paraiso by Lorraine. Is it just you? Do you have a team? What makes up the team here?
So it's just me. It has just been me since the day I started. I always say eventually I will hire people, expand, have more people in here. I'm just very OCD with like what I do.
Yeah.
And I can always say just because I've had multiple jobs, I worked in the aesthetic world even before I started my business too. So I do always like to say that I've worked at a lot of places where, you do realize like not everyone has the same work ethic or drive. Some people are kind of lazy.
True.
Or, you bring someone into your business, and I've seen it with other people, not myself personally, because I've never had anyone working with me, but I have seen as well with other businesses that people will come in, you kind of teach them, they learn from you, maybe they try to just specifically learn from you and then they up and leave, and then they're trying to do what you're doing, which again, to each their own.
Happens.
Everyone is able to have a business and do what they want, but when it comes to that, it's kind of like not evil, but it's not right. You know what I mean? It's not fair.
Yeah.
When you're really trying to teach someone and then they're coming to work for you and then they're just going to take your knowledge and then run with it. I don't like that either. But I am very OCD with it because I would hate for someone to come into my business and then do wrong or maybe be lazy and then it falls back on you as a business owner.
Well.
So yeah, that's the only thing. So it's just me. I'm here Monday through Saturday. I work all day long. I'm a very hard worker, early in the morning till late at night. The latest I try to leave here is 8 p.m. sometimes.
Wow.
So I have very long days, a lot of days, but Monday through Saturday and then Sundays are my only day off.
Wow, you gotta love
Yeah.
that. Now, obviously, in my opinion, I bet Paraiso is like your baby.
It is.
And you've had multiple jobs out there. Does this feel like work to you or no?
It really doesn't. So very cliche, but very true. You know what everyone says, like choose like a career path that like you really love
Yes.
and it won't feel like a job. And that's personally me. Like, I feel like from the moment I came into the aesthetic world, even before having my own business, I loved it. I loved going to work. I loved going and like doing what I was doing. And I always knew that I wanted to have my own business one day, especially in aesthetics. Even before I got into the aesthetic world, from working at a young age, I was always like, no, I was like, I'm not working for people. I was like, I'm not working for people. I'm like, I've been through it. These people don't appreciate me. I'm like, I'm a hard worker. They don't care. I'm like, they try me.
Yeah.
So definitely doesn't feel like work to me. I love coming in here every single day. You know, some days you're a little bit more tired than others, especially because it's me by myself, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Some days you wish you could just take like a long nap and then keep working. But once you're on a roll, like you're good. But it doesn't feel like work to me. Like I love it. I'm passionate about it. I love my clients. I always say I've been blessed with amazing, very amazing clients. Like I think I've only had like 2 people that I can say have ever came in here throughout all my years now, 7 years, okay? 7 years with the business. Maybe 2 people that weren't great clients, you know, and then they don't end up coming back. And sometimes it's better when some people don't come back, you know? But other than that, all of my clients I've been blessed with, great people. I feel like my clients are like family to me.
Love it.
We get along. My clients, any of my clients could say, like, we laugh in here, we joke. They know about me, I know about them. They know my personal life.
Yeah.
I'm not scared to share my personal life with my clients because I see them all the time.
Right.
And I always say, like, I feel like this is my home instead of my actual where I live,
Gotcha.
you know?
Gotcha.
I'm always like, I basically live in here.
Right.
So, yeah. It's not work.
This is the friendly therapy session for her and all her clients.
Absolutely.
And I love that. And I think, you know, everyone knows the cliche story. If you love it, it won't feel like work.
Yeah,
and I think
definitely.
too many people are in a spot where they feel they have to go do something.
Yeah.
Where if you built something that you love, you get to go
Absolutely.
do this. That's the big difference. Obviously, I've seen your page a lot. She's great at what she does. We see all the girls getting pretty, getting beautified. But I've also seen some post-op work.
Yeah.
My mom loves that. My sister loves this stuff, Lorraine, whether
Love
it's
that. Most girls
surgeries
do.
getting done, all
Yeah.
this, and I'm like, what's going on? I can't
yeah.
even see it. What is post-op work? What all do you offer, and what are those services like?
Okay, so when it comes to post-op, as I had said, it is anyone that has had cosmetic surgery. So anything like liposuction, they can get it in their abdomen, 360, so abdomen, their flanks, their back, arms. They can get lipo in their thighs and their chins. Obviously, the infamous BBL. Everyone knows what a BBL is, right? So you have the girls that go and they're getting their BBLs, you know, all my BBL girls. And then also anyone with tummy tucks. Maybe someone's had a breast lift, a breast reduction. Maybe they're getting implants. There's so many different things when it comes to cosmetic surgery in general, but specifically what happens when we're talking about post-op massage or lymphatic drainage massages is as soon as someone goes and gets a cosmetic surgery, you need your massages directly after surgery. You have to get your massages. You can begin your massages as soon as the day after your surgery or 2 days after surgery, but you need to get them in immediately. What happens is when someone has had surgery, some people aren't going to understand what I'm saying, but maybe you will. You can either get left with drains that are basically tubes that are inside of you and it's draining fluid out of your system. Or your incisions are left open, you don't have tubes or the drains, and you are literally draining out of these incisions that they've made in you. It is extremely important to get all that lymphatic fluid out of your body because it is what helps your overall surgery results to look the best that they can.
Gotcha.
So basically what I do is your surgeon obviously is a huge part of what your body is going to look like, but after surgery, your massage person, your massage lady, is who's going to make your body look the best after the fact. When it comes to the lymphatic drainage, it's what helps your body, all the swelling to go down. It helps your bruises to go away. Obviously what I do is I'm helping to contour you, to snatch you more, to actually make your results look very prominent on your body. Also with the BBLs, just anything that you can get done I'm helping to make sure that those results are looking the best that they can, as well as preventing things like fibrosis, seromas, all these different things. So post-op, there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of draining that happens, especially those first days. A lot of people write to me when I post things about it and they're like, that's disgusting.
Right.
I personally love it, just like extractions when it comes to pimples. I personally love it. Some people aren't going to love it. I like it. I find it interesting.
Yeah.
And I love being able to see the results that I'm giving all my girls and seeing their bodies heal and then the results really come through.
Wow.
So yeah, that's basically what I do. And sometimes that lymphatic fluid, everyone thinks it's gross, but sometimes it jumps on me when I'm massaging them, you know?
Wow.
Sometimes it's squirting at me, but that's a part of the job and I'm covered up, you know? But even then I'm just like, I'm so used to it at this point. You're just kind of like, whatever.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, girl, don't worry about it. I'm like, this happens all the time. I'm like, it's fine.
That's intense. That's really cool with the post-op. So you're
Yeah.
saying even if, I don't know what's going on with BBLs or
Yeah.
breast reductions, right? I've
Yeah.
experienced some additions. But anyway, either no matter what, if they're adding things to their body or
Yeah. Taking out.
they're going to have drainage.
Yes. So when it comes to the breasts, mainly you're typically always going to have the drains that they put in you though, but you're draining. But that's more so if they've had like a breast reduction or like a lift. If someone's just doing like their boobs, period, that doesn't really require too much massage. You can't really do too much with that. You can still come to me though because your entire body is going through a process.
Gotcha.
So I can do overall like lymphatic drainage on someone with like things like that, you know? But really anything else, like your body requires draining. It needs it.
And is the surgeon and the doctors saying,
Mm-hmm.
recommending, hey, go find a Lorraine out there in the world?
So majority will. Everywhere is different. All the girls, any girl that has had surgery or that's ever came to me already knows this, and I always speak about it with them. They have their own experiences as well. Some surgeons are gonna be like, no, like you don't need to do any of that. Like don't do anything.
Right.
Other ones are going to be like, you need to get your massages. You need to make sure that you find someone. If you don't find someone, you're doing them here. You need to wear your faja, your foams, your boards. There's a lot that goes into it. Your compression socks, all these different things. Personally, I've never had surgery, but I just know a lot about it, you know? And it's funny because most of my post-op girls that come in here, they're always like, oh, like when did you get surgery? This and that. I'm like, no, girl. I'm like, I've never gone through it.
Never.
I'm like, but I basically already know what it's like because I deal with it every single day, you know?
Daily.
But yeah, so the surgeons, it's always going to be mixed. I feel like more old school surgeons are typically going to be the ones that they're like, no, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. And then those are the results that aren't that great. And then anyone that's gone down south know that the surgeons don't play. And they're like, no, you need to make sure that like you're getting your massages.
Yeah,
like if you want
it
is. It's like if you want your body to look good, if you don't want certain things to be looking a certain way, like you need to go get your massages.
Almost like they're cutting you doing stuff, but the end product is sculpting it, helping massage and tone it or whatever.
That's what a lot of people fail to realize is one of the most important parts of your surgery is making sure that you are getting your post-op massage. Because at the end of the day, I'm the person who's going to make your body look how you want it to look.
Correct. Mm-hmm. Lorraine, obviously, you mentioned you've been working since she was 14.
Mm-hmm.
She's put herself through school. She's a boss CEO, right? Does her own thing, stays out the streets, right? You don't really see Lorraine get into issues.
Nope.
Can you speak on if you had to sacrifice a lot of fun time, me time as young Lorraine to get you to where you are now?
Absolutely. So definitely when I started, I was 20 when I started my business, or I was turning 20 when I started my business. I'll be 29 this year. So I remember when I first started, I basically made myself go broke. So I had been saving money for a long time. At that point, I had a very good job in aesthetics. I was a manager at a medical spa and I would make commission plus what I was making hourly.
Yep.
So I was making good money, and I was saving my money very well. I'm still young. So like, I'm not paying too many bills yet. I'm 19 turning 20. And then what ends up happening is once I go to start the business, So another little background story, that place I was working at, this is like a quick but like crazy story.
Yeah.
The boss that I had was very like, I guess, bipolar, to put it that way. I think we've all had bosses like that.
Sure.
It is what it is. I remember I was getting sick and tired of working there because it's, again, one of those people that's not appreciating, but the way you work like an animal, and you're the one that's doing everything while they're never there, right? So I'm the person that's always there. Even a day off wasn't a day off because you're calling me because you don't know what to do because I'm the one that's running everything when I'm there, right? Okay. So what ends up happening is, long story short, I could get into it, but I'm going to do long story short. My boss was a little crazy. She was very nasty sometimes. She would get in your face. She'd cuss you out, like craziness, right? Wow. She was like that in front of clients. The clients would think that that wasn't the owner because they're like, this lady's crazy.
No way.
They thought us, like the employees, were the owners because we were the ones being professional. My last day at that specific job, my boss put her hands on me.
Whoa.
She put her hands on me. And I remember that same day I left and I never went back. And when I left that same exact day, I started my LLC. Like, I was like, I'm starting my business. I always had a goal that I would start the business when I was 25. Yep. I was like, I'll keep saving money. Like, by the time I'm 25, like, I'll be good, you know? And that didn't end up happening. I was 19 turning 20. I was like, I'm done. I was like, I'm never working for someone again. I was like, I'm sick and tired. I was like, the fact that she put her hands on me is crazy. Yeah. I was like, this is not okay. I left. I was like, I'm going to start the LLC. I came up with the name in like a couple hours. And I literally started being like, okay, like, I know what I'm going to do. I know the machines I need to buy. I was like, I know the exact services that I want to provide. I was like, I'm literally just going to buy everything. I made myself go broke because I had made a good amount of money. I think I had like $1,000 left in my bank account when I was done like buying everything. I was like, I'm not gonna get anything like with loans. I was like, I don't want to be paying interest. I don't want to owe people money. I was like, I'm gonna just spend it all. I was like, and you know what, from here on out, I was like, this is gonna work. Yeah. I was like, there's no way this isn't gonna work. I was like, this has to work. Like, I know what I want to do. I'm passionate about it. I'm gonna start my business and we're just gonna go from here.
Wow.
So
and what about like, because obviously you're in your prime, okay? She's a beautiful woman. So what about like the times where you couldn't, was there ever days where I can't make the club tonight, girls? I can't go out to the party.
Yeah. So basically, since I started so young, what ends up happening is I had this goal, right? For my business to really like be up and running. Yep. And I was like, it has to work. Like I couldn't have just spent all this money and just like give up. And basically what happens is from the moment I start the business, I didn't go out. I think the first 3 years that I had the business, I wouldn't go out. I would work Monday through Sunday when I first started. My first year in business, I remember, it started like slowly like building up the clientele, you know. Once I got into the second year is when it like kind of like boomed and I was like, wow, like I actually have the clients, like this is crazy.
It's working.
I would work 15-hour days sometimes. Wow. But I would get everyone in. I was like, I don't care. I'm getting everyone in. Keep in mind, again, there wasn't a lot of estheticians. So it's like you're one of the one people here that people are starting to know like who you are, you know? So I'm working like crazy and I wouldn't go out. I sacrificed it. Plus, you got to keep in mind, I was still in school. Right. I was in school. I was running full-time business. I'm working insane hours while still having to like do my hours at school. And yeah, I wouldn't go out. The first 3 years, I didn't do anything. Like I was just business. Here and there, like I'm gonna see my friends, but more than anything, I'm probably going to your house. We'll hang out for a little bit, but I'm not going to the club. Like I'm not doing none of that. Once I was in my fourth year of business is when I finally was like getting like that burnout where you're like, I'm exhausted. I can't keep working like this.
I can't lose Lorraine.
Yeah, I started saying no to Sundays. I was like, officially no. I was like, no one can come here on a Sunday. I was like, I need 1 day off of work. I was like, I can't do it. I started saying no to the super, super late appointments. You know, I was like, no, like I have hours for a reason. Like you got to make it work. You know, I'm like, it's not fair to me either. Like I'm dying in here, you know?
That's right.
So yeah, and then once I got into my fourth year, I finally was like, you know what? I was like, I need to do things for me. I need to start saying yes to going out again. Going out here and there. Cause like, I'm not super
Absolutely.
like I'm going out 24/7. Like definitely not me. I feel like I've become an old lady. I'm very tired all the time. So like, I'm still the person that like, I'll go out, you know, but I have to make sure that I'm able to. But again, that 4th year is when I finally was like, I'm going to travel for the first time, like while having a business, you know, like I'm going to actually see how this is to take some time off, go and travel. And yeah, so it was like 4 years until I finally actually started doing things for me.
For you.
Yeah.
'Cause I think too many people out there that are great business owners, because it takes that to be great, or a young mom.
Absolutely.
You lose yourself. You lose who Lorraine is. And I think it's important to still have that.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
even as me, Wydoe, doing this podcast for years, right? I've missed plenty birthdays and Miami trips that I would have never missed
Absolutely.
5 years ago.
Yeah, you're like, I'm going.
And now I have to, because I'm not ready to celebrate. I'm not where I want to be, or I need to do this, or I need to edit, or whatever the case may be. I want to ask you, obviously, as a business owner, I always like to ask business owners this question. It can't all be sweet. It can't all be nice. Can you describe me the favorite thing about owning a business and one of the biggest headaches?
Favorite thing I will say is, you know, you work for yourself. It's your baby. Like, no matter what, you can put your own hours, like your days. I choose to work how I work because, you know, thank God I'm blessed enough that I have a good clientele where I am booked all week long. You know what I mean? Like every single day, like it's just me and I'm booked Monday through Saturday. You know, you're going to have your days where maybe someone cancels, maybe someone doesn't show up one day. Yeah. And that's still going to happen throughout all the years of business. That never just stops because people are people, right? One of my favorite things is the fact that, yeah, like it is your business. You're not answering to anyone. Your days are peaceful. Like you can see how it is in here. It is very peaceful. It's relaxing. It's good vibes. The music's always going. Obviously, it's not going right now. It smells good in here. Like I said, my clients are all super sweet. So I love being able to come into work, not answering to someone, making my own money. Like you're making good money while also doing exactly what you love. You know what I mean? Obviously, that's also a process in its own, is making money, you know, because no matter what, this is one of the biggest headaches with having a business is no matter what, the bills don't stop and they only get more expensive.
True.
They only get more expensive. Everyone's business is different. Mine personally, I have very, very expensive machines in here. My products are very expensive too. Like I don't just have cheap things in here. So a huge headache is every time you have to restock and you see how much money you're having to spend. Also in general, like owning machines, like your machines are going to have a day where they decide that they're going to not function properly that day. Right. And that's another thing is people that have machines, it's either someone has a machine from China that's cheap and doesn't work and it doesn't do what it's supposed to do, or you have actual machines where you can call the literal company. They are immediately telling you, do this, do that, see what's going on, see if this works, see if this doesn't work. If it doesn't work, you got to ship the machine to us so we can fix it for you. And those are headaches because then it kind of stops your process that if a machine, you know, malfunctions one day, you're like, what do I do? Like now I have like 6 other clients that I need to use this machine on. And what am I supposed to do? It's not working today, right? Right. So there are little hiccups like that happen. Those are headaches. But yeah, I guess it's just really the amount of money you see you're constantly spending. Yeah. Having to pay your taxes. I'm going to procrastinate every year of my life to do my taxes as a business owner, because once you're a business owner, taxes aren't fun. Right. You're not getting money back. You're paying more money. That's right. Even though you're the one that's consistently spending money all year long, right? But those are like those headaches. The
cost to be the boss.
Exactly.
Couple it's more really I got cost. For you, Lorraine. I want to ask you, if we were to go back to 14-year-old Lorraine and tell her where you're at, what you're doing right now, would she have believed it back then? Definitely not. I would not have, especially because, like I said, like I had a good upbringing, but at the same time didn't. Went through a lot of things as a kid that, you know, a lot of kids shouldn't have to see, shouldn't have to go through. For sure. So I feel like 14-year-old me back then would have had no hope for the future. But I always knew, as even that young, that I always told myself, you know, like
no matter what, no matter the fact that like I had the dad I had, that like we've been through the things that we've been through in life, I was like, I'm never gonna be that person that like uses that as like an excuse to not do anything, to be a bum, you know, maybe to have gotten into, you know, be like a hardcore, like being into drugs, doing other things. I was like, that's not gonna be me. You know, I was like, I'm gonna take that. And as I got older, as I grew from my 14-year-old self to older, you know, I was always just like, you know, like I have to make sure that I'm not like that statistic, and I gotta be the person that I use that to empower me and to be like, no, like I'm never gonna be like that person. Like, and if that person ever sees me in life, you're gonna see like we didn't need you. And like I did good. I did great for myself with just my mother and doing everything I could for myself. You know what I mean?
Yep. I love that. Lorraine, I don't really like advice. I don't like when people give advice, especially these days, because you can just say what sounds good. It might not be for you. So I'm not a fan of advice. I like examples. Yeah. For you, if you had to give an example to maybe a young girl out there that is dealing or that's trying to make a business career and they deal with doubt or roadblocks or maybe self-doubt, depression, what have you done? What are examples that you did to get past that? What solutions did you use?
I do feel like in general, you have to have like a strong will and like a very strong mind, you know, because we were saying this earlier before like the podcast started. There's a lot of things you see on social media, and social media is such a fake thing, you know. Some things are real, some things aren't. I personally have had other girls reach out to me that are maybe younger, that want to be in this industry, and they ask me questions like that, you know what I mean? And I'm happy to answer questions. So sorry if anyone's ever asked me anything and I don't get back to you. I'm very busy. Write me again. One day I'll respond.
She will.
But I will say, even being a business owner yourself, I'm 7 years in and you still have self-doubt, you know? You have times where, even though I'm saying social media is very fake, you might see certain things on social media and you're like, oh, should I do that? Like, I'm not doing enough, you know? But then you have to really kind of backtrack and realize everything you have accomplished for yourself. You have to remember the people that do look up to you, that do ask you for advice, and you're like, I'm doing something right, you know? Like, and again, looking at social media, I think you always have to remember, like, you can't pay attention to like the trends or what's going on. Like, you always have to stay true to yourself, stay true to what you love. If you know that you're knowledgeable in what you do, that you do everything you're supposed to do, that you take the courses, you take the time to actually learn, that you have your clients and you see the results you give them, that you've built 7 years of a business and it's hard work, literally blood, sweat, and tears, you know, that you've put into your business, and you consistently have these people that are coming back to you. I think that self-doubt or maybe feeling depressed on certain days, like, it's very easy to get into that, but you always have to remember to really pull yourself out of that. And that, again, social media or seeing what other people do is a lie, because sometimes people portray certain things that aren't true. Some people might act like they have a million clients and they actually have none, but they have to put up a front for social media because you have to look a certain way, you know? Maybe you're trying to build that clientele and you want to make it look like you have a lot of clients, but you don't, right?
For sure.
So there's a lot of different things that I think we always have to make sure that we don't base how we feel off of other people. You always have to remember who you are, again, your knowledge, your expertise, what you've done, what you've learned throughout the years, and always have that trust in yourself. Because no matter what, there's always going to be someone who's looking up to you, you know? Maybe you don't know it, but there's always going to be someone. Maybe one day you finally get that person in your DMs that says, like, they look up to you, like they want to do what you're doing. Do you have advice, you know? Just different things like that. Even something crazy. I remember I was doubting myself the other day. And there's a million reasons why I could doubt myself, you know? Because sometimes things get hard. But again, you have to backtrack. And I remember I was at the fair. That was just here. I'm walking, and it's just crazy things, right? I'm walking and I literally heard someone talking about me. They were talking about my business, and they said something like, yeah, like I tried booking with Lorraine, but I had to book for so-and-so time because she's booked out until whatever day. I remember walking by and I was like, I know I just heard my name. And as I'm walking, I'm still hearing her saying like, she's booked out till blah, blah, blah. And I was like, she was definitely talking about me. I didn't know who it was though. And I kind of looked back, but I was like, I'm not going to go up to her. I was like, if she does come in, I was like, I'm going to tell her that I literally heard her at the fair talking like about me out loud. And I'm like, you see, that's crazy. I'm like, I'm doubting myself and I'm walking at the fair and literally heard someone talking about my business.
That's you.
I'm like, that's crazy. I'm like, she was talking about me.
Right. That's big time.
Yeah.
Big
I'm
time.
like, that's crazy. I was like, that's my name. Yeah. She's talking about me.
And I've dealt with that as a creator. Sometimes you're too involved, but I have to do more. I'm not good enough. And some people, and a lot of times people out there that are looking up to you aren't going to let you know.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
when you find out, when you see them in person, yo, Wydoe, man, I love your show. I've been watching or whatever. It's like, really? I didn't even know they watched it.
Exactly.
So it is what it is. And you already know, my thing on my show is only the real. We don't fake views. We don't get into group chats for fake comments. And like, shout out to you if you do it.
Yep.
But I have to let the audience know it's out there. And it is what it is. So if you see me blow up, it really happened for the right reasons, for great guests like Lorraine. Last two I got for you. As a business owner that owns Paraiso, do you ever clock out of work?
No, I don't think I've ever clocked out in the 7 years that I've been in business. You leave, and as soon as you leave, your day's still not done, right? Either you have laundry you're taking home, you know, you're doing all the laundry from work, right? You get home, you have all your clients that you haven't been able to respond to throughout the day, right? So let's say I got out of here at a normal time. I get home, it's like 6 something, right? And I get home, I'm like, okay, let me sit down really quick. Let me like put my things away. Let me walk my dog. Let me maybe eat something. Probably not even eat something, right? Let me just walk my dog really quick because she's going crazy. And then let me sit down and start responding to everyone that I didn't respond to yet today so I can get all the messages sent out, you know, all the information people need. By the time you're done doing that, maybe an hour or more has passed, you know? Then you have the clients that maybe are responding back to you. You're going back and forth. Maybe you took an hour talking with that client, right? And now you still got to respond to everyone else. Yep. Then you're still not done, right? Because then what happens? Maybe you're editing things. Maybe you're putting things together to post, you know?
That's right.
And it's late at night. Let's say I finished writing to my clients and then I'm finally making myself something to eat at home. Then I'm going to go to the gym. Then by the time I get home from the gym, it's like 11 p.m. because I got to go super late. And then it's 11 p.m. I'm finally in bed. And what am I doing? I'm back to trying to edit, to try to get a video up maybe. And then you're falling asleep. And by the time you're done, you're still not done editing, but now it's 2 a.m. And you're like, you know what? I need to go to sleep.
That's right.
Then you get your few hours of sleep, you wake up, you're back at work, you know, and it's the same thing. So you never clock out. You never do. Even today, before we started the podcast, I had like 3 clients that hit me up and I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm not going to text them back yet. I was like, once we're done, I was like, I'll hit them up because if they're going back and forth with me, I can sit there and go back and forth, you know?
Gotcha.
You never clock out. It's Sunday. It's my one day off, right?
One day off, and she's got a podcast scheduled. We're here, baby. We're doing business.
Exactly.
Last one I got for you, Lorraine. Obviously, we know what you do, Paraiso Esthetics. We see you out here doing it, but who do you do it all for?
I think, obviously, it's for me. My little girl inside of me, knowing that I did create something, you know, but I feel like no matter what, for me, I have like this mindset that I'm always thinking of the future with my business. Even though I do everything by myself right now, I've made it into this beautiful suite that I have, you know, it's big enough. I have rooms in here. Maybe I'll have people one day in here. But I always look into the future because for me, I'm always thinking about one day, I'm going to have kids one day, right? And the day I have those kids, I want to be financially free, right? Gotcha. Like I want to be good. I want to make sure my kids are taken care of. Like they're not going to have to struggle growing up. Like they're going to be fine. And not just myself or those imaginary kids that will be one day, you know? But the other person that I always think about is my mom. And I'm always like, one day, like, I'm going to be able to just take care of her. Like, she's not going to have to work no more. She's going to be good. she's never gonna have to work again. So I always think about my mom. It's definitely for the little girl inside of me, my future self, my future in general, you know?
Yep.
And not just my mom, but like my family, my grandparents. My grandparents still work. Like I would love for them to not have to work. You know what I mean? Like my grandpa's in his 80s. My grandma's almost in her 80s.
Right.
Like I would love for them to not have to work one day. And we have multiple businesses, and I'm like, one of you go there, one of you go in the other one, just chill there all day, and like I'll pay you.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
Same thing with my mom. You go clean for me.
Yep.
Clean the floors during
Yep.
the day, and like
Yep.
I'll pay you good, you know?
Right.
That's like the end goal, you know?
That's awesome. The family business.
Absolutely.
That's so amazing.
For my people.
Lorraine, last one. Do you want to, is there anybody that you want to shout out, give some love to on your journey to lead you to right here? Boss lady Lorraine.
I
Paraiso.
guess the main person I could give a shout out to is literally my mom, because I wouldn't be here without her, right? I wouldn't be here without her. Seeing the woman that she was, how hard she sacrificed and everything she did for me and my brother, you know, like
Perfect.
I would have never been the woman that I am today if my mom wasn't who she was. I would have never accomplished all the things I did if it weren't for the life that I lived. And I'm proud of the life that I lived, you know, because it made me who I am today. But she's definitely the person that provided this life to allow me to be where I am today. So definitely shout out to my mother, to my lovely mom.
Right, you gotta love it. Shout out to mom. And now, Lorraine, can you let the people know where they can find you? The social media, you got a link, website, where do the people find you?
So you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, at Paraiso Esthetics by Lorraine. I have TikTok too, but it's under Lorraine Yvonne _. That one's kind of like business, personal. I'm not huge on TikTok at all. Definitely, if you really want to see content, go on Instagram. You can see everything on there. And then you could always go to my website too, www.paraisoestheticsbylorraine.com.
Come on now. Thank you so much for joining us. Everybody, thank you
course.
for joining. Thank you for watching this episode. Go tune in, show some love to Lorraine and Paraiso. And if nobody told you today, baby, as you already know, you look good. Thank you guys for joining the Wydoe podcast. This is the great Lorraine, live from Paraiso. Ciao.